Appreciate you all coming out with us this morning. We just ended a very productive meeting with a lot of agencies, and this week is going to be all about people getting together and taking a look at the situation and seeing what we need to do next. I'm going to try to summarize a few points for you, and then we've got a couple of folks to speak to you, and then we'll be glad to take questions related by this incident based on maps and observations over the weekend. There have been no changes in the number of damaged homes. That's still at 4. However, we expect to have representatives from like the Sheriff's Office and the County Building Inspections on site this week to begin doing damage assessments on those properties, looking to see if there's any damage that hasn't been noted yet. As I mentioned, this week we're going to be working with engineers to begin some cleanup and begin some repair. I think I mentioned in one of the advisories I sent out that we were expecting FEMA here today, but I actually understand, I think that that's, we've got state emergency management that will be here this afternoon on site. We've got Ghost Town engineers that have already been on site and will be on site again today. FEMA is expected to be here, I believe, Wednesday morning. So that's kind of the layout of the meetings I know of at the moment. We still do have a very unstable situation up there. The weather predictions for the week seem to indicate that there are several factors we could experience that could add to the problems that we have. Working at Maggie Valley Methodist Church to provide for the needs of the residents that were displaced. That is ongoing. And today we're hoping to put into place some procedures to begin working with the individual needs of those residents who may be out of their houses for quite a while. Then Greg Shubing will kind of talk about transitioning from the emergency response to the other agencies.
Press briefing, but just to reiterate that point, you know, it's the slide, what we call a debris flow. The path is about 3,000 feet long. In some places it's about 175 feet wide. Most places it's much narrower than that, you know, 80, 90 feet. And like I say, the material that's up at the top of the hill that's potentially unstable. It's showed places where it's dropped down some already, and those are features we call scarps. There's some cracks in the ground up there, so those are the things that we're looking at to determine the relative instability of it. But you know, there's going to have to be a lot of engineering input in terms of, you know, getting an assessment of the remaining structures that are up there and what type of failure modes, if any, those might have. So that's where the engineering folks are going to have to play a big role in this. And I'd be happy to try to answer any questions. The night of the 5th. So we expect, you know, we believe that probably that water was one of the contributing factors. But beyond that, we're not prepared to say anything yet.
Is the slide? Is there any way to say that construction on that slope, whether roads or
would you be able to kind of put this on a scale for us? How big is this as far as other things that you've seen?
Okay, certainly. Well, it is much bigger than the January 7th debris flow over in Bear Trail. It is, it's on Rich Cove Road, and it's, as I get my bearings right here, it would be off to the west of this track, some distance. It did come down in an area not too far from where some of the homes were damaged in this event.
But really unrelated to this.
Right, it was not directly related to this.
No,
that appeared to have been an embankment failure on the road.
Okay.
Based on the limited information we have at this point.
so the 92 slide though was in basically the same place as this one. It was similar?
Well, similar in that we think it was a debris flow. We don't have any first-hand reports. We first found it looking at aerial photographs and did our field collecting 3 or 4 years ago, so it was sometime after the fact. On top of snow before this particular event, so at this point in time, that could be a critical amount. That's a very, that's a tough call to make sometimes. There are a lot of factors, but if we get over several inches of rain, then yes, that's going to be could be a critical point.
Just real quick, could you touch on landslide mapping?
Certainly.
Haywood's in the queue right now, or is it under?
It's in the queue right now. We've finished Macon, Watauga, Buncombe. We're working on Henderson County now. Jackson is next in the queue, and I've proposed to our management that after Jackson County, we do Haywood County. So it's.
So if funding comes through, then you would get to Haywood in 2011?
That we would hope for that. 2011, 2012.
And what would that possibly help do in a situation like this? I mean,
Along by the emergency management approach, but I think they're being made aware that there's potentially hazardous situations, and I think that's where it stands right now. I think maybe David can speak to that better than I can.
We have not really forbidden people from going back up, even staying in their homes. We're making it clear to them that we're not advising that, and that's their choice if they do that. And we've told the residents below, like the 600 block, that it might be a good idea to be ready to leave. Since that, we've said that, we've had folks taking people up there on a fairly regular basis to get things. We've not had anyone that's been choosing to stay at their home.
So we have to work with the local folks and see if there's some way with the resources that are available to do that. It's just getting up to the top. It's a bit of a slog right now with road conditions. So I don't think anyone would like to camp out up there overnight.
Can you use equipment to help?
Well, there's some possibilities, and this is just stuff that we have. These are things that we haven't discussed. I guess there's some potential of posting web cameras up there to get real-time imagery of what's going down. There's some surveying stuff that could be done to monitor any movement in the slope, but those are involved in fairly expensive propositions. But that's something that
We're occupied, meaning that they're year-round residents that are staying there now.
versus like,
The other 24 appear to be seasonal part-time residents.